Hello and welcome to episode 374 of the Daily Sales Message Podcast, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff too. Today we're talking about big clients. Big clients, people that pay you a lot of money. And you might have, in your own business, one or two really big clients that make up a big bulk of everything that you do. On the one hand, that's great because it means you're making money, you've got good relationships with these people, it's all going well. On the other hand, the downside, if they left, if anything happened, you would lose a huge chunk of your revenue instantaneously. And I call this big client risk. So it's really nice to have big clients that pay a lot of money and to fall into this false sense of security. We think everything's going to be fine, but businesses change, people leave job roles, etc., etc. Nothing is set in stone, nothing is really continuous, or it might be, but we shouldn't behave in that way. So if you do have one or two clients that make up the bulk of what you're doing, this podcast episode is to remind you to be paranoid about that. Be paranoid. It feels like a comfortable thing to do and to have, a comfy situation to be in, but it's actually a really risky situation to be in because you would not be able to replace them at all or very quickly if anything went wrong. So today's episode is about two things. The first one is about finding more clients and kind of trying to diversify, so get the percentage of reliance on these people down as much as you can. And the second one is to look at something which I call contact security, which is making sure you are well known within that big client you work with. Because if I'm selling to, Google or some huge company like that, and I only know James and he's my contact there, if James leaves or dies or anything terrible happens, my relationship with Google is pretty much going to leave or die or change with him. So you need to have as many relationships with as many people as possible in those companies. Get yourself known, get yourself seen, because then if something does happen to your principal contact, you're not just immediately forgotten about and left on your own. You've got relationships with other people in the business. So that's the moral of the story today. Avoid big client risk. If you've got one or two big clients that make up a big percentage of what you're doing, don't get too comfortable. Make sure you're dealing with as many people in that company as possible to secure yourself in the event of your contact leaving or change or anything like that, which I call contact security. And the second one is try and find other clients to dilute and diversify your portfolio so you don't have a heavy reliance just on one or two. Right, well, that turned into a telling off episode, didn't it? Sorry about that. Tomorrow in episode 375, we're talking about something which I call a client shield. Client shield, I'm going to explain more about that in tomorrow's episode. In the meantime, have you got 2 minutes? I'm sure you probably have. You got 2 minutes? Yeah, why not? Go over to Selling Confidence Score, sellingconfidencescore.com. In 2 minutes, you can answer 20 questions and you can get the yes, no, simple questions, and you can get a free actionable report on how well you're doing at selling across 4 key areas where you might need to improve, and more importantly, an action plan for making those improvements that's specific to you and the answers you put in. So hop on over to sellingconfidencescore.com. You can find your number one sales blocker, and what you can do about it. Thank you for listening or watching all the way to the end. I do appreciate it. I'll catch you tomorrow for hopefully a less telling off edition of the Daily Sales Message.